speaking of the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, they just lost a commitment to your Miami Hurricanes the other day. So that is Collins Acheampong, a massive athlete, 6'7", 255 as a senior in high school. He is an African immigrant. I forget from which country, so excuse me for just saying the continent, not the country. That was not thinking that it's just Africa City, Africa. I just don't know exactly which country his parents have immigrated from. But he played one season of high school football as a freshman, and then he was working out and doing camps and things, and then he's returned to the gridiron as a senior, and is an Under Armour All-American because of his size and his potential as a defensive end. He played two ways in high school. He did get injured 4 games into his senior year, and Miami was a finalist for his commitment back in the summer. So if this name sounds familiar, it's because we've spoken about it here on the Wednesday night. But yeah, Miami continued to recruit him all the way through. And Acheampong, when interviewed by 247, said, the fact that I got injured actually helped Miami, because they, from a cultural standpoint, from a personal standpoint, from caring about me as a person, basically, what you hear kids saying about it's not a 4-year decision, it's a 40, 50-year decision. All those things and how I felt about Miami, because, basically you think, if I can't do this thing, where do I want to be? Do I want to be in Ann Arbor, Michigan? And do I want to be a Michigan man? And again, I have multiple family members who are Michigan men. So, and I say Michigan men because all of my family members are men who went there. But do I want to be a Michigan man, Michigan woman, or am I more of a Hurricane? Do I fit more to you? And considering that and everything, and, credit to Joe Salavea and Mara Cristobal and the staff for flipping Mr. Acheampong from Michigan. So yeah, Santa Margarita, one of the Catholic schools out there, is where he attends high school. And so, yeah, he will be coming down to South Beach, metaphorically. I know it's Coral Gables is not South Beach, but yeah, he's a 6'7", 260-ish. So he's a big defensive end. I saw people saying, he's African Gregory Rousseau. Gregory Rousseau was like 200 pounds, remember, when he got to college. But think of Gregory Rousseau-ish now, and that's the size that you're getting in Acheampong as he comes in. So, yeah, that's a big get for Miami. He's a guy who definitely is going to be, I think, on the end of the line. But if he gets a little bit bigger, he's 6'7", he has a frame where he can be 275, 280. Who's to say that you don't flex him inside sometimes? Who's to say that you don't play him, at one of those interior positions, depending on one of the, substitution packages like we're talking about. But yeah, getting a kid of Acheampong's caliber is really, really great. You love to see that. And again, he flipped the same day, that 2 days after beating their hated rival by double the points and being named number 2 in America. Cristobal goes and yoinks away a commitment from the University of Michigan. This is what we're talking about, man. Anybody's commitments are fair game, and we're out here and we're hunting big game. We're going to go out here. We're going to get the guys that we need to get from wherever, committed to whomever. And just again, if you lose that game to Duke with 8 turnovers, and then 3-4 days later you get Cormoney McClain to commit, and now again Michigan off the back of one of the biggest wins that since last year, but one of the biggest wins that they've had in a while. I mean, if you extend it past last year, one of the biggest wins they've had in 5-10 years, and then one of your top 4-star recruits, somebody comes in and yoinks. Hey man, you love to see that. So that's one that's on the board for Miami. So we're very excited for him. Santa Margarita Catholic in Rancho Santa Margarita, California is his school. And then Joshua Horton from Georgia, 6'4", 285 as a defensive tackle. He's committed to the University of North Carolina at this time, but he took an unofficial visit to Miami the last weekend, and multiple websites, whether that's 247, whether that's Rivals, whether that's On3, are now flipping their predictions that he's going to flip his commitment from North Carolina to Miami as well. So, and he's a defensive tackle. He's more stockily built. So he's somebody who you expect to be 290, 300 pounds eventually. And Miami does not have any defensive tackles in this class. Like, even though, like I said, Acheampong might be able to flex there on some packages, Horton would be a guy who would live there on the inside. And that would be, a big boon for Miami for, a high 3-star caliber prospect, who I'm sure that North Carolina would like to keep in their class. He's a native Georgian, but, coming on down here, there's, the game is afoot, guys. So again, if you were looking for results on the field and you waited all the way to the end of the season to kind of hold out hope that Miami was going to win that game and get bowl eligible, sorry for you. But this is where things are going to crank up. This is where Cristobal and his staff, whomever is on that staff, are going to do work on the trail to really rebuild this roster. So definitely be sure that you keep your eyes open and ears open and everything, because this is really where you're going to see the fruit of the labor of recruiting, where you're going to see, okay, we brought this staff in here to rebuild this program kind of however they saw fit. And this method, this mode of flipping the roster, which I think in the next 2 years, you're going to flip probably 90% of this roster from guys who are in the portal and, graduating, because, you have your seniors who are done and then going to the NFL. I would say between the 2023 and 2024 classes, somewhere between 85 and 90%, 95% of this roster, that as it was in 2022, is going to be entirely flipped over. But that has to be the goal and desire for you if you want Miami to get to where we all hope that they are, because this is going to take that kind of changing of the roster to get the kind of performance that Cristobal wants. So this is another step along that path, and we're excited to continue that. So welcome to the U. Collins Acheampong. Joshua Horton hopefully follows suit, and there are other guys that they have been working, and we'll see if and when those come to fruition. But this is what it's all about now. Like, we already know that the game results weren't there. Always be Cruton, and that's what Mario is on. So let's see what he can do.